Is that 508?
Yeah. Nah, I'm back in this shit. I'm just back in this shit. I'm back in this shit. I'm just back in this shit. Nah, I'm back in this shit. I'm back in this shit. I'm back in this shit. Yeah.
What's up? It's Nolan. Another Sounds of the Future episode. Who are you here with today?
You're here with Lynn Hobson.
Thank you so much for joining us. Mm-hmm. So I want to go all the way back to your upbringing. You grew up in D.C., correct?
Yes, born and raised in Washington, D.C.
So how was it growing up there, and how did it kind of shape who you are as a person and also who you became in the music industry?
Growing up in D.C., raised in a strict household, got to Howard University, majored in business management, attended there when like Diddy and a lot of other well-known notables were attending Howard as well. I learned, how to party and swing through the chandeliers. And then I discovered hip hop because in DC we listened to go-go music. Yeah. And so I was like, what's this? You know what I mean? That's when I was introduced to hip hop, and I was like, I fell in love with it. And I started researching careers that I would find intriguing. It turned out to be publicity, and the rest is history.
So talk about being a publicist and how that maneuver in that side of the industry is, because a lot of people don't really get to see the behind the scenes of what goes into an artist's development and promotion and stuff like that. So what is that experience like?
Well, a lot of people don't know what a publicist is. A publicist is someone who promotes people, places, and things, and we promote them in newspapers, magazines, blogs, local talk radio, and local TV. Yes. And our responsibilities are to do image consulting, media placements, and like damage control PR. Yes. There's a lot that comes with it. It is a selfless job. Yes. You know what I mean? Packed full of drama. Okay. There's never a dull moment in my career. Never.
So to go back a little further too, I want to talk about how you got your start specifically. And I saw that you worked with a bunch of big names, and how did you kind of get involved with certain industry people, and how do you kind of work your way up in that sense? Yeah,
so I did an internship at what you call the Terry Williams Agency. It was an African-American owned agency. I got fired from there from partying too much, coming into work late and stuff like that. At the time, Mike Tyson was the agency's main client. He had bitten off Holyfield's ear. The PR firm was like, we don't know if we want to mess with him. And, I got fired. I was living in Brooklyn, walking home from, unemployment office, crying, okay, because they were only going to pay me $400 a week. Who can live off of that?
Can't.
And this Rolls Royce pulled up to me, and it was Mike Tyson's sister. She was like, why are you crying? I was like, I got fired and I'm on unemployment. And she was like, well, Mike is starting his own record label. You can come and do a presentation to him, for him. And I was nervous. I went maybe like 2 or 3 days later, did my presentation. He just sat there like, yeah, and what? And he hired me. And from there, other clients started to come. A well-known hip-hop artist, Foxy Brown. I worked with Shine. They both were managed by Don Pooh at the time. Don Pooh now owns Brooklyn Chop House, and he manages Mary J. Blige. And I started the entertainment aspect up under him.
Nice.
Yeah.
So to talk now, I guess to reference the present, you were able to start your own firm now. And can you speak on that and what really inspired you to take a more independent route of, taking all you learned from the past and now shaping it into your own business? Yeah,
so I started my own firm because even though I was working for an African-American firm and we were working with established artists, there was still another generation, my generation. And I still felt like the publicists at the firm were not being a strong mouthpiece. They were kind of whitewashed a little bit. And I was like, we need somebody that's going to roll up their sleeves and really like translate.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? Because at the time, Diddy was going through this City College incident, and I really wasn't, liking the way that the publicists were handling him. And I was like, when I get my own agency, I'm gonna do it like this, and they should have done it like this. But they did do a great job, and now I'm doing it my way. you know?
Nice. And to talk about crafting your own path and stuff like that, what would you say, I guess, with all the lessons you learned in your career, what is the biggest lesson you learned as a African-American woman in the industry and navigating and making her way?
The biggest lesson I would say that I've learned in this industry is that you can't do it without God. You cannot. You can make a plan and you can write it all out, but if God doesn't have his hand on it, it ain't happening. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You got to go to God for everything. I learned that late in life, and now my life is on cruise control because now I'm doing that.
So to speak more on that too, I mean, you just spoke about how big of a role your faith plays in your life, but you also were able to kind of translate that into your own business too, as well.
Yes.
With where you express your faith in God with others as well too.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So I've gotten into arguments with some of my Dipset family in the past about my faith, but you know, as time has gone by, I can see that they see me now,
Yes.
you know, and they're with it now.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I also want to talk about how you are also a published author, correct?
Yes.
So can you talk about getting into that space of also just the arts in general, of becoming a writer and really expressing your truths and what you've experienced in your life, and talk about that the book and what people could expect from, or what people can learn from it.
Right. So the book is called Diary of a Hip Hop Publicist, and it's 20 chapters. And during the publicity is a love-hate relationship. Okay, it's a love-hate career. 1 minute I love it, 1 minute I hate it. So at the time when I wrote that book for 2 reasons. One, I'm about to make my grand finale entrance like Beyonce, exit like Beyonce, write this book, drop the mic, and boom, be a millionaire and be out. You know what I mean? And then also trying to defy the odds, meaning that I had a mentor back in the day that was teaching me how to be a publicist, and she kept on saying, "You're never going to be a good publicist. You can't write. You're a horrible writer. You're a horrible writer." She never liked my press releases, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I feel like I'm a good writer. I think I'm a good writer. And so putting out the book was just that fight to overcome the voices in my head. You know what I mean? Diary of a Hip Hop Publicist is an inspirational, spiritual book about me and all of my crazy clients and having to show up to work every single day with a smile on my face. You know what I mean? No matter what. Because even though they have drama, I have drama too. You know?
And you got to deal with both.
Right.
So to say, you kind of expressed how in your career you've kind of had to go through a lot, but I would say you're hard-headed in the best sense of the word, where you're really persistent. And do you feel like you always had that trait about yourself, where you grew up and you had the confidence to be like, this is what I'm gonna do and I'm gonna stick to my word and I'm not really gonna be worried about what other people say? Or do you feel like you had to kind of build that over time?
I was always very hard-headed. You know, my dad, I came from a strict household, and I understand why they had to try to keep a lid on me. I was type wild. But if someone said no does not apply to me. No is an answer for another person. You talking to me, you know what I mean? Like, I don't believe in standing in lines. I don't believe in holding on the line on the phone. Like, it's like a game to me. I pride myself in, you know, getting around the rules. You know what I mean? And you have to, because who's going to get anywhere standing in line?
You got to break the rules.
You have to break the rules.
100%.
Yeah.
So what does the future hold for you now? And where do you kind of see your career bringing you now? And do you feel like you will dabble into, obviously you became an author. Do you see yourself becoming something else in the future?
Absolutely. I'm coming out with my first documentary. It's a vitiligo themed documentary, because over the years, you know, everybody stressed me out. You know, I developed vitiligo, which is the lightening of the skin. And then at the birth of social media, I always thought that I was the only person that had it. You know, with social media, Winnie Harlow, so many other people have it. And so now there's a cure. And so now you're going to start seeing no one with it. So I feel a sense of urgency to hurry up and document that before, everyone has the same even skin tone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to speak more on that too, was that so it developed over time, I'm assuming?
It developed over time. I noticed it during 9/11. The trauma and the stress. I had a best friend. She was an actress and also a publicist, and she was temping at American Express in the towers, and I couldn't find her, locate her. I was living in Jersey. I walked to Brooklyn, from the GW Bridge all the way down Broadway, all the way across the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yes.
And she was there, asleep in the bed, unaware that anything had happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she was fired from American Express 2 days prior to 9/11.
Wow.
And I just feel like, it was God,
So we have something called Words for the Future.
Okay.
So it's pretty much any advice or anything you want to leave with the people. Just a lasting word for you. What do you want to leave with the people?
No is the answer for someone else's question. Don't look back, burn the bridge, keep going. Do not look back. It's even in the Bible, don't look back. You'll turn into a pillar of salt. So don't look back and keep God first.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course, that is Sounds of Future TV. That is another episode. Signing out.
Back in the field, back like I never left, ready to spill. Only got one shot, I go for the kill. Could've went platinum with thoughts like a drill, but I found a better way without a deal.